Welcome back, everybody, to the Nevin Shapiro Fan Club experience here. I'm here with Nevin Shapiro again. Pleasure to have you on again. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing a little bit more about Nevin's life in his current state, what he's doing now, and the things that he enjoys. I'd like to get into a little bit more of his life passions now going forward, for the viewers to kind of see who he is. You know, there's people definitely out there that is interested in kind of what you're doing now that you're out and now that you're a free man. And I see the comments even on the fan page, how people are like, Nevin, can you come back? Can you help this, that, and the other? And people are pulling you in 9 different directions. So kind of want to give the fans a little bit of a viewpoint of kind of what you're up to nowadays. So I guess the first question I would ask more for them would be like, what are your kind of hobbies? Like when you're not busy with work or anything, like what do you do for fun?
Well, my favorite hobby is really watching college football. That's just a pure joy for me.
Yeah.
I've done a lot. I've done extensive reading since I got incarcerated, which I never used to do. Not because I'm not smart, just because I never had the time. So I had a lot of free time to do so, and it's carried over. And I read a lot, and I study podcasts. I study documentaries because my story, as you know, in your very short tenure knowing me, is very layered and deep.
It's very deep.
Yeah. And so people think they know, but nobody really knows. So, you're starting to get a little taste of it. So I've spent a lot of time building what my brand is going to be. So what is my brand? It's Nevin Shapiro and my experiences, good, bad, and different. And, I've seen a lot, and I want to give back. I really do. And I think you could speak better than me how you've visualized me in a personal context as opposed to whatever you might have perceived me as. And, I'm all about just being at peace, man.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing. And,
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a controversial figure. My past is controversial enough.
Right.
But, I made some mistakes along the way, and I want to be able to help. I lecture universities. I've given about 15, 16 lectures maybe since I'm home by Zoom.
Right.
It's very fulfilling to me. I speak on ethics and compliance. Who better than me who violated them?
Right. Yeah. Now you know this. Yeah.
I'm not teaching guys how to launder money. I'm telling people what not to do.
Right.
Right. And, I'm in a very peaceful state now mentally. And that's what I do.
Right.
Every day I'm working on a documentary. I mean, I have, what I have going on.
Right.
For the fans out there or the haters out there.
Yeah. Speculators.
Whichever you want. I got some story.
You do. You do. And I wanted to bring up something. I didn't know if you could talk about it, and if you can't, it's no problem. I remember sitting down with you and you talked about wanting to potentially do some things with the inner cities,
Yes.
And that's like a passion for yours. And I really thought that was really cool. And that shows more of who you are as a person, like deeper to the core. Mm-hmm. So if you can just expand on that a little bit.
So I grew up a middle class guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say lower middle class. I'd say directly in the middle, not upper, but directly in the middle.
Yeah.
So I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Right.
And, a lot of my friends did.
Yeah.
And, I always strive to get that on my own. But anyway, I became, a very successful and wealthy guy and never expected that I would end up where I ended up in prison. While in there, I had a chance to really observe a lot of different dynamics and sociological differences. And it really bothered me to a great degree. I took a lot of shit from staff a lot of staff loved me, but a lot of staff hated me because they were just jealous. That's really, there's no in between, and that's what it
Right.
was. And, I received their animosity. But anyway, it wasn't only directed at me, it was directed at others of less fortunate backgrounds from other, diverse ethnicities. And I really fucking had enough, to be honest with you. Like, I'm on this prison reform shit, and it's personal. And everyone who knows that's in my circle, who's in my circle, they know the platform I have. And I'm going to be the voice for people that don't have a voice. And it's personal. I don't need money for it. And I'm putting together a dream team of a few athletes specifically who you're aware of. I don't want to blow up their spot yet.
Yeah.
Let them, carry their own way. But I'm going to speak on prison reform. And I'm not only going to speak, I'm going to make moves on prison reform. And I just think our sociological being in America is trash. Like, principles and respect are all gone. And I fucking hate it. I hate it. And I really want to do the best I can to at least try and pull the lower class closer to the middle. And if it means the rich got to get a little bit more generous with their taxation, then that's what it is.
Right.
We're so divided as a country, and I hate it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it. And I witnessed it inside. Like, I'm just a different person. I've seen things, and I look at things. Like, I'm not trying to be a funny guy, but you've heard me say this. Like, a lot of times I'll say things and people will be like, this guy's capping, or he's this and that. I mean, you haven't seen me lie about anything that I've presented to you, right?
No, I've read it.
I mean,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I'm on some Gandhi type shit in my life now. Like, that's where I'm at, man.
It is.
I want to make sure the victims in my case, who are definitely victims, but they weren't my victims. I was just held responsible for them. And that's going to come at another time. But I want to make sure anybody that was affected in my situation is good. And I hope they all reach out to me individually, through the right legal channels
Right.
to make sure they're safe, I'm safe, and,
Yeah.
I'm doing things appropriately. And, let me clear my conscience and let them get the real facts. But, not to digress from your question, those are my plans for how to get involved with the inner city. And I have some other projects going on that, for me, they're not money related. I just want to do it because I know I can.
Right. I think this is a perfect segue because I was actually going to ask you this, and we were talking about kind of how you feel like things are divided and stuff. So if you look at like the world in totality, like, what is one thing you would change? If you could change anything about the world, what right now, what would you change?
Oh man, that's just a hard question. There's
Yeah.
so many problems that we have out there. I mean, the Middle East is a massive bomb,
Right.
no pun intended, that's just ready to blow.
Yeah.
We got our own problems internally here in the States, so, like, let's fix our own issues before we start worrying about world issues. But it's impossible not to take that into consideration when you have what's come through these borders and whatnot. I'm not going to get into the whole political rhetoric. How do we change? I don't know how we change, or what would I do. I just know that we are in a very nasty, hateful society. The road rage is an extension of how people really feel inside.
Yeah.
I see it every day. You spend a lot of time with me in recent weeks. How chill am I?
It's insane. So mellow. So it's nothing that I ever thought. And for the fans, I was the biggest hater. I was, until I got to meet you and really was like, wow, this is different. This isn't like,
the it's not that I haven't earned my criticism.
yeah.
Right? So let me be candid about that and humble about it. I've earned criticism,
Yeah.
but criticize me for the real,
Right.
for what it really is. And unless you really know, you're gonna hate me. And there's no one who knows me personally in my life that has anything but love for me.
Right. Yeah.
I'm generous. My heart is gold. I'll take my shirt off my back for someone. And yes, I know there's going to be the commentary, well, you robbed it. I didn't rob these people. I was dishonest with them. Had I just been honest with what really happened with their money, I never go to prison. It becomes a civil matter and it gets worked out. That's going to all come out
Right.
in due time. Believe me, it's not a 30-minute documentary.
No.
This is
it's
a life
lot.
series.
Yeah.
And you know, I've just evolved
Right.
as a person.
Yeah.
What used to be important is not so important.
Yeah.
I could have 10 Lamborghinis and Ferraris and mixed sport, and it's just not, doesn't mean anything to me
Right.
at this point. I've done it all in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just on some different stuff. My parents are older. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have them on earth. I want to enjoy them while I can to the best of my ability to do so while God allows them to stay on earth. The people that really, really matter to me, that's like whatever I do from this point going forward, it's for them. It's not even for me.
100%. And you alluded to some qualities already, shirt off your back, things like that. What would you say is like one of your, if the best quality about you?
I just got a massive heart.
Yeah.
I got a big heart, man. I put myself behind whoever is in my life.
Right.
I don't think about it. I just do.
Yeah.
I think you've had a chance to witness it yourself.
I have sat in some rooms that never thought I'd ever sit in, and I've seen it, and I think you could fake something in a few days.
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
Right. But, even in the short time that we've spent a lot of time together in the last month has been more like where we've spent most of our time. And, there's no faking it. It's just who you are.
I will never change.
Yeah.
Until they plant me.
Yeah.
That's it. This is what it is. There's a reason why all those kids fucked with me and loved me the way they did.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all boat rides and women and
right.
paid services and all that stuff. I think you've had a chance to really witness that.
I have. First and foremost, it's in the front.
It's a little bit deeper than me being a groupie, would you say?
Yeah. They needed you more than you needed them.
That's right.
100%.
And,
Yeah. These kids had nothing. And we're talking about the University of Miami for just a very small second, but just if the fans that don't know what we were just discussing. But, I sat in on the Randy Phillips interview, and, it's someone who played, and they had nothing. Nothing. You were the one just helping them put food on the table. You weren't giving them, $50,000 just to, hey, take it. It's like, no, like I need clothes for my daughter. I need food on the table. Yeah. My mom needs help putting gas in the car. Yeah. Stuff like that. Like that's what people aren't understanding, the differences of like your money came from the heart, not from like trying to lure a player. An angle, right. Like an angle. Yeah, it was more just like I want to do this because this person has literally nothing.
I lost, they said at the end of the day, he spent $170,000. I'm not going to get into individual players and this and that because what I did for them, I did from the goodness of my heart.
Right.
But I spent $4 to $5 million I lost $4 to $5 million.
Throughout your tenure of University of Miami?
Yeah. And how do I know it's that number? Well, I can't be specific to the penny, but that's the range, fairly certain. And would I do it again? No, I wasn't smart. I sort of learned my lesson that I would have been better served putting my money elsewhere and my time. But, we go through life, and I'm very philosophical, as you know.
Yeah.
I talk to you, obviously you have a dad, and that's your father. But I feel like when I'm speaking to you, I'm speaking from a fatherly standpoint
Yeah.
of, mentorship. And I have not ever once said me, me, me. It's always been you, you, you.
Yeah.
This is what you can do.
Yeah.
This is what you should do.
100%.
And, that'd be better served coming from you than from me. I don't need
It
to,
does, yeah.
I don't need to, pump my chest and whatnot. And, yeah, a lot of people see an arrogant side of me. And it's not an arrogant side. It's just it's a hostile side of, I just don't take shit. And like, if you come at me sweet, you're going to get sweet. And if you come at me sideways, you're going to get sideways on steroids. That's you have a pretty good idea,
Right.
of how I move now.
Yeah.
And I want to see the program back, man. I mean, I really do. I love the University of Miami. I always have. That was the most unfortunate of events that took place, and there's blame for a lot of parties, me included. But man, to think that I don't want to see that team rise again, in spite of some of these fans that are like just, clueless, it would be a lie on my part. Like, I want to see them back at the top. And, I know you weren't going to talk a lot about the Miami stuff, and that's okay too. But let me just say one thing. So, when I put in these commentaries on Mario Cristobal, you got to understand, I had a very good relation with Mario. I'm not going to get into it for your viewers, but it was a solid relationship, and better than solid. And, I speak from a fan standpoint. If people don't want to hear the truth, then, turn me off and go listen to, the local news affiliates. But I'm going to give it to you real. And I think where you've been, it's real.
100%.
And where it comes from.
And from the source itself.
Sources
too, yeah. But people inside there,
right,
on the field, at the practices.
You know what I mean? And I'm not asking for their opinion. They're asking me for my opinion.
Right.
Like, I think it's important to point out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're looking for my input.
Mm-hmm.
I could help this place get right back to where it needs to get, but I'm not going to do any heavy lifting without an acknowledgement of, like, we want you to be part of this. That's got to take place.
100%. 100%. I know that, we weren't going to get too much into it, and I didn't, but, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It makes a good point, and, it shows the truths behind it, and how the players, when we sit down with these guys, and I've been in some of these rooms, we're in like a round robin table. I mean, like, we're all surrounded, and everyone's asking each other something. It's like we're not focused on one person per se. Everybody has input, and all the inputs are the source. That's what's so great about it. It's coming directly from the internals of what's happening.
It takes a village, man.
It does.
That's what made the U special.
Yep.
That's really what made the U special. And it's gotten off that template for years now.
I know. It's been a long time. So we'll go, actually just one more question, because we're not going to make this one as long as the last one, but this was a curious question that I had, and it's a little bit, might be one that stumps you, maybe it won't. If there was a historical figure, dead or alive, who would you sit down with to want to have dinner? Any historical figure?
I got a couple.
Okay.
Your fans may laugh.
Okay. I thought it'd be an interesting question for even me, but I would think people would want
this maybe a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So it was a combination of people.
Okay.
Meyer Lansky.
I have no clue.
He was the Jewish leader of the mob.
Okay.
of Murder Inc. And he was the brains behind the La Cosa Nostra situation.
Okay.
And if you're a young guy, look him up.
Okay.
Historical. Hyman Roth in The Godfather was based on him.
Okay.
That's one.
That's cool.
Jerry Tarkanian,
Another one I have no idea, but hopefully
head
the
coach of
fans know.
UNLV. All your
They'll know. My
your
older
millennials may.
my older fans.
He was the ultimate recruiter and college coach.
Okay.
He put together. Do your research.
Okay. Is he still alive? Do you know?
No, he died a few years ago.
Okay.
He would be a second guy for me.
Okay.
And a third guy would be Julius Erving.
Wow.
My favorite athlete of all time.
Yeah, you did say that before.
Dr. J.
Dr. J.
I
Yeah,
loved
that's
him.
a good pick.
I idolized him.
Yeah.
And he was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. And my all-time favorite athlete. So it would be those three guys.
Yeah.
Three different walks of
That
life.
is. It's very different. And for the people that don't know, I'm an old soul. Like, I love rock music and all that stuff. So I want to get, this is the final question. Give me a musician that you would sit down with.
Well, there's a number of them. Bruce Springsteen,
Bruce
an
Springsteen.
all-time favorite of mine.
Yep.
Jimi Hendrix.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would love to sit down.
I'd have to be really, really high with him, though.
You're not a drugs guy, though.
No, I know, but in order to make the conversation worthwhile,
I guess
I'd have to be at his level because I don't think he could operate at my level.
We'd have to just catch him on a
He'd
sober day.
be weird if he
Like
wasn't
like
high.
right when he woke up from a nap or like 8 hours, catch him right
Yeah.
there. So he's not doing anything.
Maybe Ronald Reagan. I would say
Ronald
would be
Reagan,
one
okay.
guy. Maybe one guy that
Non-musician.
going back to non-musician.
Yeah.
Those would probably be it.
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix.
That's a good
Bruce
one.
Springsteen.
I like the Hendrix one. I didn't think you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Because I'm a guitar guy.
Maybe Paul McCartney, just because.
It's another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say, I really do have to say, Elvis Presley.
Ooh. My grandfather tells me about stuff with him. He got to see him right before he died in the 50s.
Oh, wow.
Live. And, that's...
He died in 1977, but
Yeah, he saw him in the 50s, 60s era, somewhere in there. And he
Yeah.
told me about it. And,
yeah,
what a memory.
He was way ahead of his time.
Oh, yeah. No, what an excellent thing. So just want to thank you again, Nevin, for coming on.
Yeah, I
And,
love doing these. Look,
Yeah.
who knows where this fan club page goes? Who knows? It could have 1 million before you blink, or
Yeah.
100. But whatever it is, I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna answer
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
and if anybody wants to write in hate, what do I duck?
No. And he would answer it, Message the fan page. He's on it too. He can see it. We can answer your questions. Any questions you guys have.
I'll
Yeah.
answer whatever.
Any questions
Going
you
back
guys
to
have.
recruits, who we missed on, who we did get.
Yeah. And
whatever.
even like stuff today, like life stuff. Because we're going to give you guys different content. It's not all going to be University of Miami stuff. It's going to be...
I'm not it doesn't have to be the rah-rah in your face type
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Just sit down and...
I'm more into the Zen mode.
Yeah. Coffee chat, Just a nice little relaxation.
Yeah.
So, guys, please like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. There's going to be more content coming every week. I'm dropping videos every day. So please follow if you like the content, and we'll see you on the next one.
You're back for